So we're going to discuss the importance, composition, and properties of air, water, and soil. Air is important for living things. Breathing is a part of a process called respiration. During respiration, a living thing takes an oxygen from the air and gives out carbon dioxide. This process gives animals and plants the energy to eat, grow, and live life. The air in our atmosphere is composed of molecules of different gases. The most common gases are nitrogen with 78%, oxygen at about 21%, and argon at almost 1%. Other molecules are present in the atmosphere as well, but in very small quantities. And these are the properties. Air takes up space and it has mass, and also it is affected by heat. Air exerts pressure. Air can be compressed and air is affected by altitude. So those are the properties of air pollution. For the water pollution, water is one of the most important substances on Earth. All plants and animals must have water to survive. If there was no water, there would be no life, no Earth. Water is a chemical compound and polar molecule, which is liquid at standard temperature and pressure. It has the chemical formula of H2O, or meaning that one molecule of water is composed of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Water is found almost everywhere on Earth and is required by all known life. About 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water. These properties of water are: water is polar. Water is an excellent solvent and it has high heat capacity. And also it has high heat of evaporation. Water has cohesive and adhesive properties. And lastly, water is less dense as a solid than as a liquid. So that's the water pollution. And for the soil pollution, soil is our life support system. Soils provide and encourage for our roots, hold water and nutrients, and also home to myriad microorganisms that fix the nitrogen and decompose organic matter, and armies of microscopic animals as well as earthworms and termites. We build on soil as well as with it and in it. The basic components of soil are minerals, organic matter, and water and air. The typical soil consists of approximately 45% mineral, 5% organic matter, 20 to 30% water, and 20 to 30% air. These percentages are only generations at best. In reality, soil is very complex and dynamic. The composition of the soil can fluctuate on a daily basis depending on numerous factors such as water supply, cultivation practices, and or soil type. These are the properties: texture, structure, porosity, chemistry, and color. And this is the sources of air pollutant emissions. For the air pollutant, we have airplanes, mobile like cars, trucks, buses, and motorcycles. We also have station, industry, power plants, sewage and treatment. And we have here the cities, livestock, fertilizer, oil and gas. We have the forest and wildfires, lightning, and volcanoes. So those are the sources of air pollutant. And for the causes of earth, we have agricultural activities, waste in landfills, exhaust from factories and industries, mining operations, indoor air pollution, natural events. They can even lead to a person's death. Long-term health effects from air pollution include heart disease, lung cancer, and respiratory disease such as emphysema. Air pollution can also cause long-term damage to people's nerves, brain, kidneys, liver, and other organs. So those things are the effects of air pollution. And also a burning of fossil fuel. And these are the sources of water pollution. So we have here a runoff agricultural waste water. Second is trash dump in the ocean and boat explosion. Lastly is wastewater discharge pipe source of DOA, means Department of Agriculture. So that's the sources of water pollution. The various causes of water pollution is industrial waste, sewage and wastewater, mining activities, marine dumping, accidental oil leakage, the burning of fossil fuels, chemical fertilizers and pesticides, leakage from sewer lines, global warming, radioactive waste, urban development, linkage from landfills, animal waste, underground storage leakage, eutrophication, and lastly is acid rain. The effects of waste pollution are destruction of aquatic flora and fauna, drinking water supplies, food chain, agriculture, and lastly is the economic downturn. So those are the 5 effects of water pollution. Sources of soil pollution. So we have 5: domestic waste, agricultural waste, industrial waste, excretory products, lastly salinization. So these are the sources of soil pollution. So the causes are the industrial waste, bad soil management, and fuel leakage. And these are the effects of soil pollution. So we have decrease in soil fertility, soil erosion, and last is toxic dust. And now for the noise pollution, these are the sources. We have household sources, social events, commercial and industrial activities, and last is transportation. And these sources are all provide sounds. And for the next, causes of noise pollution. So we have a traffic noise, aircraft noise, noise from construction works, yes, and also noise from the industries. And we have horns, explosion, and other. So that's the causes of noise pollution. And for the effects of this pollution, we have noise pollution affects both health and behavior, yes, and unwanted sound. Noise can damage psychological health. Noise pollution can cause annoyance, aggregation, hypertension, high stress levels, yes, and hearing loss. And we have sleep disturbance and other harmful effects. Sources of thermal pollution. So the major sources are nuclear power plant, coal-fired power plants, hydroelectric power plant, thermal shock, industrial effluents, and domestic sewage, deforestation, and last is soil erosion. The causes of thermal pollution are coal-fired power plants, nuclear power plants, soil erosion, deforestation, domestic sewage, natural causes. And the effects are changes in water temperature are changes to the aquatic environment. Some species are not able to tolerate the temperature differences and die off. Whole aquatic ecosystem is affected and changed. So these are the effects of thermal pollution. And for the radioactive fallout, the source is nuclear weapon, and there are only two causes, which is the nuclear reaction and ashes, and these are based on my opinion. And the effects are blast injury, thermal radiation, ionizing radiation, and lastly is residual radiation. Before the lockdown, the Philippines ranked 57th out of 98 centuries in IQR's World Most Polluted Countries, as MP 2.5 was recorded at an average of 17.6 micrograms per cubic meter. So for the flood mitigation, they include flood walls, seawalls, floodgates, levees, and evacuation routes. Non-structural measures reduce damage by removing people and property out of risk areas. They include elevated structures, property buyouts, permanent relocation, zoning subdivision, and building codes. Earthquake mitigation. Seek shelter under stable tables or under door frames. If outside, stay away from buildings, bridges, and electricity pylons, and move to open areas. Avoid areas at risk from secondary processes such as landslides, rockfalls, and soil liquefaction. After an earthquake, check gas, water, electricity pipes, and lines for damages. Listen to the radio and follow the instructions issued by the authorities. So that's the earthquake mitigation. And for the cyclone mitigation, it encompasses the actions and planning taken before a tropical cyclone strikes to mitigate damage and injury from the storm. Regional specialization meteorological centers and tropical cyclone warning centers provide current information and forecasts to help individuals make the best decision possible. Landslide mitigation. Hazards are mitigated mainly through precautionary means, for instance, by restricting or even removing populations from areas with history of landslides, by restricting certain types of land use where slope stability is in question, and by installing early warning system based on the monitoring and ground conditions such as strain in rocks and soils, slope displacement, and ground levels. And these are also various methods: modifying slope geometry using chemical agents to reinforce slope material, installing structures such as piles and retaining walls, routing rock joints and fissures, diverting debris pathways, rerouting surface, and underwater drainage. So that are the different or various methods of preventing or lessening the risk or damages. So thank you for watching.